Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. It is the Champions League draw, round of 16 draw that has just happened today when I'm recording, and we'll get through the draw and we'll most importantly talk Liverpool Real Madrid. Um, I will talk about that towards the end. Um, let's get into the other fixtures, shall we? Because I want to leave the best to the end because I think Liverpool Real is the best fixture in the round of 16. No bias aside, because I mean maybe maybe PSG and Bayern could be a big one, or Milan Spurs. But I think the history, the fact that these two teams always clash with each other is just so much more special than the rest. Anyways, I want to talk about the first few games. First up, Leipzig City. They did play in the group stage last season. I think Leipzig have some really good players. We did go over to Germany and got beaten by them. It took us the final match day to finish top. For me personally, Leipzig have some really good players. It depends if Werner can make it back in time for the game. I'm not too sure, but believe he's missing the World Cup. And Kunku is a really, really top player. Szoboszlai is a good player. Gvardiol is a top player as well. But I just feel like City have just a bit too much for Leipzig to handle. And I just think the quality with Erling Haaland not going for the World Cup, obviously Norway aren't in it. I just think he can recover from the injury he's on, and train for the next few months. And I just think there's a lot of quality. Now, one thing I would say with City is because they are a top team, they have a lot of players going for the World Cup, and they have to obviously rotate with the Premier League as well. It really is going to be very interesting to see how a lot of these teams cope with fatigue, tiredness, injuries, and I'm sure City will probably get that too. I'm sure they have been affected too, right? So it'll be very interesting, but I personally think City will get away with this, and they will go to the final 8. I think they will win it. I do think they will win this game against Leipzig across both legs. I just think the first leg away in Germany will be a very tough one, but they might just edge it. And then the second leg at the Etihad, I just think it's a bit too much for Leipzig. Next up, Club Brugge against Benfica. Now, these two sides would have wanted each other, and the funniest thing is, both sets were lucky because Brugge have had so many other teams they could have had. They could have had City, they could have had Real, they could have had Napoli, they could have had Bayern. So there's a lot of teams that Brugge missed out on, and they got this next team that are, no disrespect, weak. If you look at it, out of these 16 teams, which is something that you would consider the weaker ones, right? Club Brugge, probably Benfica in terms of squad size, even though they are on like a 23 game unbeaten streak, which is crazy. So the two of them got away with it, are playing each other, and I think even though Brugge got away with it, I just think Benfica are very, very strong. They have got some really good players as well, and I just think Benfica, obviously, I think they beat Juventus 4-3 as well, and they drew PSG, I think, both games. So, and they finished top of their group over PSG and Juve. So it tells you a lot really about Benfica, and I'm just gonna say, watch out for them because they are a real threat. And I just think Club Brugge, a solid group stage they had, but no, for me it's Benfica. And then we have an Milan Spurs. Now I'm gonna be honest, right? It's a dice roll. It's 50-50. It's could be either of the teams. Now Spurs at the moment, and by the way, from now to the games that are happening, is a good 4 months away. So, and the World Cup is in the middle, so you don't know what's gonna happen with injuries. Players might come back, players might get injured. How's the form gonna be like? Because just because Spurs are not on the best form now doesn't mean they are not gonna be on the best form in 4 months' time. So it's gonna be very unpredictable. But if you look at current form, based on current form, how they're playing, grinding out a late win over Bournemouth and Marseille to finish top of their group, and then losing to Liverpool at home, I just feel like Milan, would think to themselves, look, we had a particularly, it's not the most impressive group ever because we finished behind Chelsea, and we had Zagreb and Salzburg in it, but we made it through, and against a Spurs side like Conte, who normally just goes into the game, sits deep, and play at the back, and they might not be the best at defending. I just think Milan could go in, go all out, try to get the first goal, because if they get the first goal at the San Siro, they will get the backing from the crowd, because the San Siro is one of the best stadiums in the world. I'm telling you, just look at it. It's beautiful, and we have the Bernabeu, but the San Siro, oh my god, legendary. But if they can get the early goal, I think Spurs will look to panic. And I just think one thing, by the way, if they get the early goal, I think Spurs will have more of a fight back. But I just think they have to take everything they can, because I just think Spurs, you never know with Spurs really when they turn on, and they have Son, they have Kane, Kulusevski will be back, Richarlison will be back, so they have a lot of qualities going forward. So I feel like Milan will have to try to get the first goal, but every time Spurs go 1-0 down or 2-0 down, they seem to play better. So who knows? But I'm gonna bet my money on Milan. I think they have every shot. I just think they have a good player in Leao. In attack, Olivier Giroud, ex-Arsenal. They have Tonali and Benacer in midfield. Tomori at the back, absolute monster. Mike Maignan might be back for the game as well. I think he's gonna miss the World Cup as well. So they have some really top players in there, Milan. I just think they're gonna edge it. Whether they make it far into the competition, I don't know. But I just think Spurs, unless something changes in the market in the window during the January, I'm not too sure, man. I'm not too sure. I'm not convinced in this Antonio Conte project that they're building on, because they've probably made a couple of good signings in the summer, but a lot of these players haven't met the expectations that we thought of them, right? So yeah. Next up, Frankfurt Napoli. I think Napoli will get this out of the way and get the job done. Going over to Frankfurt, could be quite difficult. I'll look out for a couple of Frankfurt players. I think Kamada is a decent player in there as well. So yeah, and when we played them, they didn't give the best of fight. But if you made the one mistake, which Napoli haven't seemed to be doing, but one mistake, and I think Frankfurt, could easily score. And the first game away in Germany in Frankfurt as well. So going over away from home, for the away teams, all the away teams, I would say you just gotta start strong, gotta get the early goal, and hopefully the other team lose the momentum. But it's not gonna be easy for the teams playing away. So yeah, but Napoli, I've been very impressed with them. I know they lost to Liverpool away, but that's a very tough place to go, Anfield. We'll get onto that in a second, as well. And Kvaratskhelia, really top player. Osimhen, a lot of big teams are looking at him, and I think he could be the next one out of the door at Napoli. Like I said in my Napoli video the other day, in the midfield, solid with that little midfield trait of Zielinski as more attacking, with Lobotka and Anguissa as the pivot. At the back, Kim Min-jae, brilliant. And that's a very solid team. For me, I think you gotta try to get to the quarters, and I think they've been blessed a little bit because Frankfurt aren't the strongest team. I know there are a few players in there that you have to watch out for, but they could have had some stronger teams as well. I mean, someone like PSG, for example, you could have had them. So they sort of got away with it, but it's a beauty of finishing first. Beauty. Next up, Dortmund Chelsea. Now, this is a bit straightforward. A lot of people would say Chelsea, um, because on paper Chelsea do have a better team. You know, at the back, James, if he comes back, will be crucial. Chilwell as well. In the midfield, when Kante does come back, Kovacic, Jorginho, whoever plays. But for me, I think the problem is the front line. I just think, has Aubameyang got it? You know, his form isn't that great at the moment, and obviously they just lost to Arsenal. Kai Havertz, again, another one of those that just isn't on the best form. Sterling hasn't turned out to be a good signing so far. Can't say so. But I do think this Chelsea team could put danger, a lot of danger on Dortmund. But based on how they have played against Brighton and Arsenal, I'm not fully convinced, and hence I've gone with a Dortmund surprise. This, I think, my first real surprise that I'm gonna go with. I just think Dortmund, are a strong side. I think Jude Bellingham in midfield will be controlling the game for Dortmund. They have a strong defense with Schlotterbeck and Sule at the back. And going forward, they are a really strong side as well. So for me, I'm going to go with a surprise, and I'm going to go Dortmund now. Bellingham going to Stamford Bridge and playing in front of the Chelsea fans will be a very interesting side, because he could be their future player as well, whether they're in a race. Because right now, it seems that Liverpool and Real Madrid are the two leaders of the race. But I'm going to say Borussia Dortmund. A very surprising one, I would say, for a lot of people. But, I want to have a bit of spice. I want to have a bit of something special. And I'm just going to say Chelsea to get knocked out in the round of 16. Next up, Inter Milan against Porto. I think probably the easiest to predict. I mean, even maybe along with Frankfurt, Napoli. But for me, Inter Milan gets to the next round. Porto, they have a couple of good players, Taremi up front, Diogo Costa in goal as well. These are two players from the striker and the goalkeeper, two of their best players. So you gotta worry for sure. But I just think Inter as an overall just have better players in general, and I think they will finish off Porto and get through to the next round. And lastly, technically not, my second favourite, and I would say another one that you have to look out for, PSG against Bayern Munich. Now, PSG, they have some of the best individual players you can possibly get. Neymar, Mbappe, Messi. What else do you want? That is a ridiculous front three in their prime. Unstoppable, unplayable, right? But something about this team that just does not work together, that I don't know what. I have no idea why they can't seem to do well in the Champions League, and they always crumble in one of the knockout rounds, right? Hence why Bayern are my teams to go through. Now they have a better team. They work better. Choupo-Moting going back to Paris to play against his former side. He's on form. Jamal Musiala, really good player. I just think that midfield will be key, and the defense will be very key as well. And I think Bayern Munich are very, very strong in those two compartments, and are probably stronger than PSG. Even though going forward they might not have the Messi's, Mbappe's, Neymar's, they have the Gnabry's, Sané's, Muller's, Coman's, and I think, and even Choupo-Moting. So I think Bayern Munich as a team, from the strikers, the forwards to the defense and the goalie, I just think are a better team overall. And I think it's another season where PSG are going to get knocked out in the round of 16. And I think, if you look at this, right, either Liverpool or Real are going to get knocked out, or either PSG or Bayern going to get knocked out in the round of 16. Right? There's two teams out of four of the favourites, I would say, to get knocked out in the round of 16 already, which is huge for the rest of the teams like Napoli or City, for example. You know what I'm saying? These teams who will probably win their games, who try to go for the Champions League title when a lot of the other teams are knocked out. Final game, Liverpool Real Madrid. It is the special moment because it always happens. Every time it feels like we play Liverpool. 2018 final, I think it was 2021, we played them in the quarterfinals. Last season, we played them in the final, and this year we are playing them in the round of 16. We always seem to play Liverpool. I don't understand this. But I know a lot of Liverpool fans would say, we don't want to talk about revenge, but you sort of want to, right? And I think the players will try to think of revenge, right? Liverpool players will be thinking, 6 months ago, we lost in Paris to Real Madrid. If we can, actually, it's not even 6 months ago. It's probably about 9 months. I mean, from now it's probably 6 months, but in 4 months' time, it's probably about 9-10 months. So before the game, they will be thinking 10 months ago, this team, the opponent, beat us in Paris, and we lost the Champions League final. We gotta get back at them. The first thing at Anfield will be vital because I think if Liverpool get the momentum, they get going, they play at their best, I just think they could kill us off already. But if we can scrape a victory, which would be insane, but a draw at Anfield, I just think going back to the Bernabeu, we will be the one getting the advantage. We can already prove that we can get a draw or something at Anfield. I just think if we can go back to the Bernabeu with a draw or even somehow win, we can do this. We can knock Liverpool out. One thing I would want to say though is last season, I know it's only a 1-0 win, but a win's a win. We managed to beat them. I know it's only one leg. I know it's only one game, okay? But let's go at time traveling back to the game I mentioned earlier. 2021, I know it was during the pandemic, but in the quarterfinals we played them. First leg at home, a 3-1 win. Now I know the first leg was at home. Okay, it's a bit different, but we proved that we were able to do so. During that time, Liverpool were probably not at their best. You know, their team to now probably hasn't changed too much. Our team has changed a lot. With the likes of Ramos for Varane leaving and Rudiger, Tchouaméni, Camavinga coming in. So we have got new players in. Then, if we can beat them 3-1 in the first leg and then go through 3-1 in 2021 with a weaker team, why can't we now? Even last season, I know it's only one game. You can't compare, by the way. But last season, right? What has changed from last season to now? Liverpool brought in Darwin Núñez. Okay, that's an upgrade. But you lost Mane. So would you say that's an upgrade? I would say it's probably about the same as last season. So that team is the same. Our team has gone from that team to adding in Rudiger and Tchouaméni. We lost Casemiro, but we got Tchouaméni in. That is an upgrade in my opinion. In my opinion, it's an upgrade. So if Liverpool's team is the same exact team as 6 months, 7 months ago, and our team has got even better, with the weaker team we can beat Liverpool. Why can't we beat Liverpool with a stronger team? Why not? And unless someone can tell me a reasonable answer or reason why we can't beat Liverpool with a stronger side, there's every chance that we can beat them. The other side of the coin, there's every chance Liverpool can beat us. It's 50-50 in my opinion. And I'm not going to talk about right now momentum. I'm not going to talk about it, right? Because I know I talked about it for the other games. But even if I talk about it, right? Let's talk about Milan Spurs, for example. Spurs, horrible momentum. But they can absolutely go through against Milan. I'm just saying Milan because I feel like they have a better balanced team. With this game, right now Real Madrid are probably on a better form. I mean Liverpool, lost to Forest a couple of weeks ago, lost to Leeds a couple of weeks ago. I mean we did lose to Leipzig, drew Girona, and smashed Celtic to be fair. So you look at this and you go, it's probably quite even, but Real Madrid are top of their league. I mean, technically right now second with Barca playing the extra game. But if we win against Rayo Vallecano away from home when I'm recording this today, we'll probably go back to the top of the league as well. So, based on current form, Liverpool are 8th, we are 1st. But anything can happen within the 4 months after now. There's the World Cup, and then we'll be back again, right? And during the World Cup, injuries can happen, and even leading up to the game, fatigue, tiredness, injuries, everything can be ruined. This season has already been ruined so far. Benzema has missed 8 games, did you know? This season already. And we've played about, 20? Ridiculous. He's missed basically half of the game so far. And, I mean, whether we have injuries issues, whether Liverpool have injuries issues, we have no idea if that's going to happen. But leading up to the game, we can only know better of the league, the ties, the games, when we get closer to the games. And I'm gonna say an early prediction. This early prediction video, I'm gonna say Real Madrid to get this done. I know I'm a bit biased. I know I'm backing my own team, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And I feel like we can do this. The first thing at Anfield, we gotta go there, get a good result, even if it's a draw, get something from the game, and back in the Bernabeu for the second leg, finishing them off hopefully. But let me know your predictions. I'll round up my predictions once again. So I've got Manchester City, I've got Benfica, Real Madrid, AC Milan, Napoli, Borussia Dortmund, Inter Milan, and Bayern Munich. Those are some really top teams, man. City are still probably gonna be in it. Like, I think Napoli will probably still in it. Inter will be still in it, and the rest, maybe Benfica will be still in it. So I would say 4 teams are probably most probably gonna be still in these competitions. The other 4 to play for, I think, would be Liverpool, Real, Milan, Spurs, I think Dortmund, Chelsea, and I think PSG, Bayern. I think these 4. I mean, if you look at it, either Liverpool, Real, Milan, Spurs, Dortmund, Chelsea, or PSG, Bayern. That's 4 out of these 8 teams will get eliminated. Wow. But yeah, I mean, my prediction was Milan. I thought we were gonna get Milan, but we got Liverpool again. I mean, look, it is what it is. You can only beat the best to be the best. You gotta look in front, and no point, looking back and thinking, if only we would have had an easier draw. Because, like I said, you have to beat the best to be the best. So we have a point to prove right now. Liverpool have a point to prove as well. Who knows? But that'll be it for today's review. I don't know when the Rayo Vallecano review will come out. Whether this video gets uploaded tomorrow, 3:30 UK, or I'll upload it earlier. In fact, I think I'll upload this 3:30 UK time on Tuesday, and the Rayo Vallecano review might be earlier than that. So yeah, that'll be it for today's review. Not review, video. I mean, I've had a lot, so yeah. Every time I do reviews, I keep thinking it's a review, but yeah. That'll be it for today's video. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe to the channel if it's on already. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.